What do the following books have in common? Animal Farm, All Quiet on the Western Front, Brave New World, Catcher in the Rye, Lady Chatterley's Lover, James Joyce's Ulysses, The Satanic Verses, and The Grapes of Wrath. Well, they're all brilliant books, firstly. They always make it onto the list of top 10, top 20, top 50 books of all time. They're also some of my favourite books, but that's not the key link. The key link is that they're all books that have been banned. This week is Banned Books Week, so I thought I'd talk to you today a little bit about banned books. The first question to ask is, why do books get banned? Well, according to the Office of Intellectual Freedom, there are three main complaints made about books. First one is that they contain offensive material that is in some way against the cultural values of today's society. The second one is that they contain material which is sexually explicit or violent in nature. The third one is that they contain material which is inappropriate for various age groups. Now, if we look at the reasoning behind some of those complaints, we can see some of the ideas that are underpinning banning of books. The first of these is religious. Between 2001 and 2009, the most complained about book in the United States were the Harry Potter series of books. And they were complained about by religious groups who felt that they promoted black magic and the occult or devil worship. The book Animal Farm is a satire about socialist Russia, and it's actually banned today in the United Arab Emirates because it's felt that the idea of a talking pig goes against Muslim theology. Animal Farm was actually banned in Stalinist Russia, which brings us on to our next reason why books are banned, for political reasoning. Now, it's one of the key images of a totalitarian regime, the idea of banning books, of censoring newspapers, or even of burning books in some extreme cases. And we think of that when we think of, as I've said, Stalinist Russia. It's also true of Nazi Germany, who held big book burnings in various towns throughout Germany after they took office in 1933. The third reason why books are banned is protection. Now, one of the most commonly cited reasons for the banning of books is that it's to protect a particularly vulnerable group who can't be exposed to these ideas. Most obviously it's children, but there's also a famous case, and the case of Lady Chatterley's Lover, which was put on trial in the UK for being obscene. And in the trial, the barrister for the prosecution said that this is not the sort of book you'd like your wife or servant to read. Now that seems funny to us now, and actually it seemed funny to a lot of people in the 1960s, because it showed how out of touch the establishment had been. And actually the book was found not guilty of being obscene, and this led to a relaxing of censorship laws in the UK. So what can we learn about banned books? Well, the first thing is that banned books usually are banned as a result of a society being at a crossroads for moral reasons. Using the example of Lady Chatterley's Lover again, the book was published in the early 60s and the trial was in the early 60s, at a time when societal morality was changing and society was becoming a lot more liberal. So that indicates usually that there is some sort of underground societal change that results in this book being banned. Also, banning a book is not a very good way to stop the idea nor to stop the author. Books that are banned usually end up being released on the open market, and most importantly of all, they actually increase the publicity of a book and eventually the sales of a book. There was a case in The Economist this September about a New Zealand author called Ted Dawes, who wrote a book called Into the River. Now this book was banned in New Zealand after protests by conservative groups, and as a result of this banning, the book is now internationally famous. And that is evidence of what happens when books are banned. Usually it serves only to increase the buzz around a book. Ultimately, if a book is banned, it shows that it's doing something right. Great literature is about promoting great ideas, about challenging the reader, and about increasing the number of ideas within society. If a book is banned, then it shows that it has forced society to look upon itself and to ask questions about itself. Even if some people don't necessarily like the answers, ultimately, the fact that it's increasing a dialogue within the society is a good thing. And on the idea of offence, if you're offended by a book, then we can draw from Salman Rushdie, who was subject of one of the most famous book bannings in recent times. He said, "If you don't like a book, read another book. If you start reading a book and you decide you don't like it, nobody is telling you to finish." And that is the spirit of Banned Books Week.